The knee-trembling yin to Resident Evil's yang, Konami's legendary Silent Hill series celebrates a quarter-century of scaring horror fans silly this year. One of the most famous franchises the Japanese publisher has ever created, it makes virtual scares a whole lot more visceral than Capcom's undead offing games. While Resident Evil targeted shock scares as it chucked undead dogs through windows to eke out terrified reactions from players, the first Silent Hill and its sequels specialized in a more cerebral brand of horror. Deliberately mysterious with loads of room for interpretation, these games remain psychological spook-em-ups where a combination of claustrophobic fog, twisted enemy designs, and one of the most horrifying bosses in video game history combine to chill your spine. If you think you'll have another go at the Silent Hill series after watching this, pick up a new Astro A50X headset so you can hear the monsters coming just a little bit sooner. Did we mention that it can connect to 3 systems at a time, including PlayStation? Sit back and revel in the dread as we celebrate 25 years of Silent Hill. Three years after Resident Evil burst onto the scene and redefined the term survival horror, Konami released an entirely different take on the genre, one that would prove equally iconic. Silent Hill is the anti-Resi. The original takes place in the world's foggiest town, not a strangely opulent, sinister mansion. Protagonist Harry Mason is the definition of an everyman, a total nobody who's not trying to save the species from the T-virus, just a dude attempting to find his daughter after a car crash. And unlike Capcom's knowingly cheesy series, Silent Hill always aims for creepy over-camp. With deliberately stiff combat and a story that's designed to make you disorientated and question its plot at every turn, this 25-year-old classic remains an uncomfortable experience to this day. It's a huge testament to the talents of Team Silent that its sequel would easily overthrow this masterpiece.
It's like this is all some kind of bad dream.
Yeah, a living nightmare.
The town of Silent Hill is the last place on the planet you'd ever want to visit on holiday. One of the main reasons the town is so iconic and deeply chilling is because it's an environment perpetually bathed in fog and darkness. As a result, Harry's vision and field of view are constantly restricted throughout the original game. Yet, that's Silent Hill's genius. Its disorientating, downright dread-inducing claustrophobia is due to the fact that a monster could be mere feet in front of the player character at any moment, and you can rarely tell until it's too late. Part of the reason for the series' now legendary fog was born from the hardware restrictions of the PlayStation 1. If the first Silent Hill was made with today's cutting-edge technology, Harry would probably have the vision of a gun-toting eagle. Just as with the shark in Jaws, sometimes seeing nothing is the scariest possible scenario. Talk about a tortured protagonist. Long before it became popular for games to have fully fleshed out central characters, Silent Hill 2's James Sunderland was a one-off in the early PS2 era. Defined by a twisted romance that revolves around his dead wife Mary and a mysterious doppelganger called Maria, who follows him around the fog-filled town like a petrified chihuahua as he kills all manners of vile beasties, Sunderland is a truly three-dimensional lead. Boldly tackling mental health issues in a way even few modern games have the courage to, Konami created the unlikeliest of pop culture icons in James. The backstory surrounding his deceased wife and the character's constant doubt over his psychological state makes James someone who you feel uncomfortable controlling at times. James and his tortured past are the polar opposites to every self-assured, zombie-slaying Resident Evil hero. And that's a major factor in what makes Silent Hill 2 such a landmark sequel.
I'll wait here. I hate bowling.
I didn't come here to play, you know.
Hurry back, okay?
The Silent Hill series gave us the ultimate gaming boogeyman all the way back in 2001. First introduced in Silent Hill 2, Pyramid Head is easily the franchise's most iconic monster. A sinister abomination made of pure nightmare fuel, the Beast in the Butcher Apron made nerve-shredding virtual stalking cool a whole decade before Alien Isolation's titular xenomorph. Brandishing an unreasonably large knife and acting as the monstrous, living embodiment of James's guilt about the death of his wife, the villain's now legendary helmet was inspired by a type of World War II German tank. Personally, we'd fancy our chances against the King Tiger tank over this relentless pursuer. Arguably the scariest creation in the history of video games, Pyramid Head is a monstrosity that gives every other Silent Hill enemy nightmares. Bizarrely, initially conceived as a rail shooter, Silent Hill 3 is a solid threequel that takes you on one hell of a spooky ride. And what an opening! In a rare example of the series leaning on traditional horror tropes, the game starts by plonking new hero Heather Mason, daughter of the original Silent Hill's Harry Mason, slap bang in the middle of an abandoned amusement park. While Silent Hill 3's main town section retains the claustrophobic dread you'd expect from the series, the brief and memorable intro sequence is one of Team Silent's strongest openings. While you gingerly stumble around as petrified Heather, it's hard not to be thrown off by your sinister surroundings. Even though there's little actual enemy threat, easily the eeriest moment? That would be when you stumble upon one seriously dead giant pink bunny strewn on a park bench. Silent Hill 3 gleefully informing you, no, it's not a costume.
Happy birthday to you!
But you're wrong. It's not my birthday.
Silent Hill 4 The Room turns 20 this year and marks the final entry in original Team Silent's horror saga. Sadly, once Konami moved the series onto different studios, quality took a massive nosedive. But happily, this fourth installment sends the psychological horror franchise out on a relatively high, if thoroughly weird note. Unlike its predecessors, Silent Hill 4 doesn't take place in the titular town. Instead, you play as an isolated man called Harry Townsend, who lives an exceedingly lonely life in a creepy flat in South Ashfield Heights apartment building. Cue 10 hours of visiting disturbing parallel realms via Henry's toilet, because obviously, and being hunted by hideous creatures. If nothing else, Silent Hill 4 certainly isn't boring.
Oh man. What a dream.
You can't keep a good head-messing horror series down. After going underground following the release of the underwhelming Silent Hill Book of Memories, Konami has at long last decided to resurrect its iconic franchise by remaking Silent Hill 2. Though we've only seen a couple of short trailers, this PS5 and PC-bound remake already looks hugely promising. Not only does this updated take on Silent Hill 2 look gorgeous thanks to Unreal Engine 5, it's also in the hands of low-key horror masters Bloober Team. The Polish studio has a real horror pedigree, with Layers of Fear, The Observer, and the Blair Witch Project under its bump in the Night Belt. As much as we can't wait to relive the nightmare of one of the greatest horror games ever made, the idea of Pyramid Head and other updated monstrosities on PS5 is giving us all the EBGBs.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill.
Itching for a Silent Hill fix as we all wait for the much-anticipated remake's release later in the year? The bite-sized, and free, Silent Hill The Short Message recently dropped out of nowhere on PS5, and is well worth visiting for longtime series fans. If you enjoyed our musings on Silent Hill, why not give the video a like? While you're at it, subscribe to the Logitech G channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss another video.